If you're looking for a show that has formal interviews with few things you can relate to, then this show isn't for you. This is the On the Air podcast starring you, the OTAP Show. What does OTAP stand for? Well, we kind of just told you. These are informal interviews with people from all walks of life, talking about experiences you can relate to. Share in all of the laughs with real stories from real people. Find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen on the free Podcast Republic app. Now, get ready for this week's episode. Here's the OTAP Show with your host, Corey.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Snoop Dogg, aka Real Ghost Fight.
Hey, this is Nikita, aka Jakari Star.
Yo, what's good? This is your boy Bob.
This is Kaya, aka Black Honey.
Hey folks, this is Corey, the host for Metal for Brains.
Hey girl, she's so pretty.
This is Greg, the infamous New Age Ike Turner.
Kicking it with the homie Corey, aka The Real City. Now you're listening to On the Air Podcast.
And you're listening to the On the Air Podcast.
The On the Air Podcast.
The On the Air Podcast.
Starring you.
Starring you.
Starring you.
Welcome to another episode of the OTAP Show. It's October. I just celebrated a birthday. Happy 3-2, the 32. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I think the statistics show that everybody at this point probably knows someone or knows somebody that knows someone that has battled breast cancer or lost someone to breast cancer, and me included, several times over, including who I have on the line today. This person, I don't know if there's another person that I have laughed with and cried more with. She has been through, I think she's seen me through like 3 or 4 relationships, so it's few people that knows me better than this person. We got on the line Sommar. What's happening?
Hi, how are you?
Super cheerful. Hi. Is that how you usually talk to people? Hi.
This is my phone interview voice.
Oh, man.
You know, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna bring it down.
You know, I mean, because I don't want phone interviews super corporate, Sommar. I want the Sommar that doesn't hesitate to cuss me out at any chance you get.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Oh man, what's really good? How you feeling?
I am feeling great. Considering I'm recovering from my second surgery for breast reconstruction, and that has been pretty tough, but I'm still here.
I'm glad.
I'm happy about that.
You're super strong for that. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but because I want to know that story and I want to know that journey. But I want to first tell you thank you for joining the show, taking the time out. You didn't have to do that, but you did it for little old me.
Of course. I mean, big old you.
Hey, I'm still kind of pissed when you told me I had fingers that look like bananas.
You got them damn banana hands. I mean,
man, whatever. You know what? It has been said that I have not been serious about a woman unless I have mentioned her to you.
that's very true.
You proud of that?
I am proud because, you know, there's been some shit that I've seen and I've had to, you know, steer you out of that direction. Like, no. I mean, you can go get some pussy from this person, but I don't know if this is a serious thing because no. And there's been, you know, some times where I don't know. I mean, just a lot of whole activity. I mean, I remember just like calling you, you know, whenever, because you were always up. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to see how he feels about whatever situation I'm going through. So I would just call you, be a bitch at the house. And you kick the bitch out to talk to me on the phone. And I'm like, all right. And I will never forget, like, you did that one time. And the girl, she was just like, man, fuck you. And I was just like, you really don't have to do this. She was like, man, fuck this girl. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, so when's she leaving? You know? So I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up.
Oh shit!
So you don't remember that?
I didn't think you remembered that.
Hell yeah, I remember that. Because I remember I was going through this shitty ass breakup and I was just all fucked up. And I was like, well, let me call Corey and see what he got to say. Because he always offering me these great words of wisdom. And he has so much wisdom and, like, you know, about men and relationships, but he ain't shit. So I don't understand. But he gives some great advice, you know, and, like, you know, very good to talk to on the phone. So I'm like, all right, well, let me call him. It's like 4 a.m. And I guess, you know, you were feeling nice that night because you let the bitch stay over because, you know, you don't usually do that. So you kicked her out.
Shit.
Like, you was like, nah, you gotta go. And I was like, oh my God. She about to go home at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning so he could talk to me on the phone. And I felt bad, but then I was like, fuck her. She ain't shit anyway. I mean, because one thing I will say, even though you weren't shit, you were always honest. And, like, women were always trying to, like, oh, well, I can change him type shit. And you like, all right, you can try, but I'm telling you right now that I'm going to be who I'm going to be.
Damn.
And I just remember, like, you send me, like, the text conversations and shit. Like, girls like, oh, can you come over? And what that bitch say, she was like, no, you said you weren't coming over because she didn't have any hot water? Oh, my God.
You were the first
And
person I sent that to.
And she was like, what hot water got to do? You was like, I'm not coming over your fucking house if you ain't got no fucking water. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? God damn. But, you know, I mean, that shit's real.
Oh, shit. Damn. I didn't know you remembered all that shit.
So I'm like, dude, what, okay, all right. Kicking bitches out and.
I was not that bad.
Okay. I mean, I will say that, you know, everyone has to be accountable for what they do or whatever, but you were always honest with these women if you didn't want to have anything to do with them. But, you know, some women see that as like a challenge and stuff. And you wasn't with the shits and you showed them plenty of times. But for whatever reason, they still stuck around. And I feel like the common trend with you and women you were the one that always was like, you know what, I don't want to fuck with you anymore. It was never a woman that was like, you know what, I can't do this with you. It was always you that was like, you know what, I'm tired of fucking you. So
do you know why that
like,
was?
the ones that you like considered, like the couple that you were like, hey, what do you think of this one? I was like, fuck no, this bitch is crazy. Because one, I'm not gonna get into it, but that bitch was crazy. I was like,
I think I know who you talking
one.
about. I think I know exactly who you talking about.
Yes.
I ain't gonna say no names,
Two, I was like, no, I ain't really feeling that. But you know, get some pussy. Shit. Like, what the fuck? We young. Get some pussy from the bitch. Be honest, you know, but as far as relationships, them two crazy bitches are not the ones for you. So we gonna have to, you know, go in another direction. But then when you told me about Pinky, I was like, what? She wanted to talk to your ass? Like,
oh,
what?
Man. Don't do me like that. Damn.
I mean, because, like, Pinky is cool and she ain't with the shit. And I was like, okay, well.
But wait, though. But whenever I did settle down, I've always been focused. And I think I've always been a good person. So like when I settled down for her, like I was good. When I'm single, like I'm extremely single. But
yes, you are extremely single.
But when I find someone, like I'm all in for that person. Would you not agree?
That's very true because the one that you were thinking about, that was like you were really focused, and I was like, I don't care how focused you are. I don't know about this one. You can do what you want, but I'm not sure about this one. And you were like, are you sure? And I was like, I'm positive. No. And I was
Summer,
probably right too. Shit.
you always have been, and because usually at some point I would figure out, I'd be like, damn, she was
Bitch
right.
crazy.
Summer would always encourage me to sow my wild oats with these women, and I would be like, I guess, man. But the reason why I usually would be the one that would cut it off with them is because I saw it would get to a point where they couldn't handle the arrangement anymore, and I got tired of being held accountable for that. I didn't think that was fair. Like you,
It isn't fair because, like I said, unlike most men, you were always straight up. Like, I don't. I just want your whole. I don't want anything else. And they saw that as, oh, he wants my whole, like my whole being, and it's like, no, bitch, that's not what he meant. But I give it to you. You were always honest with the bitches, even kicking them out. Because I remember when you kicked her out the house, you weren't like, okay, you gotta go, and not tell her why. You were like, my friend's on the phone, she needs me, you gotta go. And she was just in disbelief. Like, I was just over the phone, but I felt like I was in a room and I could see her face because she was just like, what? What do you mean? I was like, okay, well, bitch, if you gonna go, you need to hurry up so I can talk to him. Shit. Y'all can be mad later. It's 4 a.m. I got shit I need to get off my chest. Shit.
man, whatever, man. All right, that's enough. That's enough about me and my history. You just let all the shit out the bag. Damn.
Okay. I had to keep some shit to myself because I thought that would have been a little bit too much, but
No, it's cool.
it's cool.
It's all good. Early on, growing up, like my early to mid 20s, I was like, I was rough. I was just coming into my powers. I wanted to see how far I could stretch them shits. I needed somewhere to practice with, and that's just kind of how it came. But I feel like as I got older, like I realized the damage, the potential for damage, and so I calmed down. I made a conscious effort to stop having sex with dudes, women's. Like that wasn't. My thing was if they
And
don't.
married and too.
Did I have sex with a married woman?
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, look, I was super young then. Okay, I didn't know. Look, my
You
thing
didn't give
was
a shit.
my my thing was if what excuse would I had? Some bullshit I used to say about if they don't respect their relationship, why should I? Some shit like that. I ain't know. Some excuse shit. I was young. When I was a child, I did child things. I think I turned out all right though.
Yeah, I think you did too. And I think everybody, men and women, kind of go through a stage like that of like finding yourself. And, they call it hoe phase, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're out there hoeing. It's just, you're just, dating different people and having different experiences and just figuring out what works for you and what you like and what you don't like. And, it's just unfortunate that you just did that with your dick, but it worked out.
I'm gonna tell you what we not gonna do. You're not gonna come on my show. You're not gonna clown me on my show. This is my show, damn it. You're not gonna clown me on my show.
I'm not clowning. Looking back and shit, fucking wild. But
Yeah.
I'm really, 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 really happy. Like, I don't think you understand how happy. Like when I see you and Pinky together, it really makes me happy because you've come a long way, and I think she is very good for you. And I don't really know Pinky that well, but I really like her for you.
Yeah. When you and you told me that before, and I was just like, you know what? If that means something for anybody, I know it's going to mean something from you because you pretty much seen it all. Well, now, what I don't want to happen, what I don't want to happen is I don't want people to jump in your mentions or your DMs and ask you, did I ever mention them to you? Like if they do that, ignore them. Don't even give them.
You know me, I don't play that shit. No.
Let's talk about since we still on the topic of Hoe Phases. Let's talk about yours. Tell us a little bit about yours and how you eventually tapered off. Like there was a period when you was just like yours seemed to happen after trauma. Then you it'd be like trauma. Then okay, I'm gonna go out and hoe it up a little bit. Then you'll be cool. Then trauma up, need to go hold up some more. And you was really out there. And I was me, I was like, okay, cool.
I wouldn't say I was out there like that. Goddamn, you make it seem like I'm just giving my pussy to anybody. But
no.
When we were on the IC or whatever, because how I got to be on the IC was I had first moved to Maryland to be with my ex fiance. Who is a fuckboy, but that's neither here nor there. And I moved up here to be with him. I moved to Maryland, and I didn't have a job, so I was fucking bored all day. And he was already on the IC, so he was like, "Why don't you join the IC and talk to some people up there?" Because I moved up here, I didn't have any friends or anything, so I got on the IC. Well, actually, I was on the IC before, but I wasn't really using it. I was just using it for music and stuff. So I started using the message boards, and I was like, "Oh, this is dope." And then it got to a point where I was more popular than him, and he was like, "Okay, what the fuck are you doing up here? I have so many posts." And he was like, "What the hell is this AIM shit? What are you doing?" And because he was a what they call it, a powerful poster, whatever, because he was that he was always in the, what was that porn thread? He was
the powerful porno movement. That was
that was his doing. He was fucking disgusting because that kind of ended our relationship because he actually, I think he had a problem with it seems like he just had a problem with sex, meaning I felt like he was addicted to sex. And it wasn't just having sex, but just seeing sex and stuff. Because, now that I've had other relationships, it's not normal for a man to watch porn all the fucking time. You have sex with your girl and then you go to your computer and you watch more porn. That's weird to me,
So what people don't understand is that an addiction is defined by its consequence, not its habit, not its action. If it's defined by its action, it's a habit. So if it started impeding his ability to be productive, then it's breaching into habit. You know what I mean? If he just couldn't stay away with it. You know what I mean? Then
he couldn't stay away with it because all the links and stuff that he was dropping in PPM, those are stuff that he bought. He was the one that was buying. Exactly. He was spending money on it. He was spending a lot of money on it. Granted, he could afford it. It was a lot of money he was spending on onion booty and shit and then he used to post the login and stuff so people can go and download videos.
Oh, that was him?
Yes, he was paying for people to have that stuff.
Hey,
and
God
he would be
bless
up
him
all night doing that.
And he was doing the Lord's work.
I don't know what the fuck it is because that's weird.
He was doing the Lord's work. He was keeping many of people out of trouble because they was in front of the computer waiting on his links.
They really were.
He needs to be saluted, and we honor that type of sacrifice and dedication here on the OTAP show. Thank you for your service.
Man, fuck that nigga. But it got to a point with him where, he used to travel a lot. And I found out that he was posting sex ads on Craigslist. Like, he
Oh
would
man.
travel to, different cities to do training and stuff. And we were living together, and we had just bought like this computer we spent all this money on. And we had like our own accounts and stuff, but I saw he was always on Craigslist, and I was like, I thought he was trying to buy something, which I didn't really understand because he made good money, and then his mother was always giving us money, so I didn't understand like why are you looking for used stuff on Craigslist. But I eventually found out that he was actually posting ads for companionship for cities that he was traveling to, and
Oh man.
my dumbass, I never said nothing about it because I was just like, okay, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong or I'm not, giving him what he needs. Like I blame that on myself and I was dumb as hell. But I never said anything about it. But then it got to a point where he started looking for stuff in the city where we lived, and he started paying people. Like, I found an email that he emailed a prostitute on Craigslist, and he was like, how much basically? And she was like, oh, this much to suck, fuck, this much to give up my ass. And she was like, if you want me to cook. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then she was like, oh, well, here's my number. Text me if you're interested. And she was like, I got to pick my daughter up from school. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So then I was like,
I didn't know they was cooking. I didn't know that
good.
was part of the package.
Right. So then I confronted him about that, and I was like, so, what the hell is this? And of course, like any man, what you doing in my email? And I was like, word, okay, whatever. So I tried to work with him. Like, I wanted to go to counseling and stuff. He didn't want to go to counseling. He did go to one session with me, but he just sat there on his phone the whole time while I talked. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to make you go because it's just expensive, Mm-hmm. So that shit didn't work out because I'm like, okay. He was like, all right, well, I won't do it anymore. You can check my emails and you can see that I'm not doing it anymore, blah, 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 whatever. So my dumb ass was like, okay, because at this point I got this big ass rock on my finger. I have this big ass house and I really don't have like any family. And he, basically like cut me off from a lot of my friends because he didn't have any friends. Porn was his friend. So anytime I wanted to do something with my friends, it was always, oh, why do you need to go out? Or you shouldn't be going out. Your friends are single. They don't have men and, they going out looking for men. Why do you want to go be with them and stuff like that? And I was young, so I was thinking that he had a point, but now I'm an old bitch. I'm like, this motherfucker was stupid, crazy and controlling and abusive. Like, I cannot believe I dealt with that, but I didn't really know any better because he was my high school boyfriend. So, it just got to a point for me. I was just like, okay. So I'm, checking his email. I'm seeing that, it's clean. He's not doing it anymore. I'm thinking it's fixed. No, motherfucker, it's not. He made another email address.
Of course he did.
And after that,
of course
yes,
he did.
Yes. So after that, I was like, all right, well, I gave him his ring back, and that was the end of that. And I left. And like when we broke up, I didn't feel like I was more hurt about losing my life because I was used to, he basically, in so many words, like took care of me. I didn't have to really do anything. Like I had a job, I had my own money and everything like that, but I didn't have to pay like really any bills or anything like that. And he pretty much like bought me anything that I wanted. And I went from having all of that to like having to basically learn how to be an adult on my own. So I like left and I didn't really have anywhere to go. So I lived in my car, for like a month because I really didn't know where to go. So I was like, I would drive back and forth to my sister's house. And I got this threshold for my sister where I can only deal with her for like a day because she fucking drives me nuts. So I would go stay with her sometimes. And then I had money, saved or whatever, because I really didn't pay any bills. So I would go stay in hotels and stuff. And then like I was so embarrassed that I didn't say anything to anybody. Like I was just, I was just on Twitter, like I still had my little happy life and everything, and I was still telling my friends, "Oh, we're getting married, blah blah blah." I was so embarrassed by it that you know, I just did what I needed to do, and that was not the right thing because like I realized I was like, "Okay, bitch, you living in your fucking car. Like, this isn't cool." So I really just hit up one of my friends one day and I was like, I really need help getting the rest of my stuff. And they're like, "What happened?" And I told them what happened. And my friend, she just left from work and she was like, "Oh, we gonna get your shit out this motherfucker's house." So I got all my stuff and then I just went and I stayed with her. And at the time, I was a contractor, so I was working contracting job and the economy was like piss poor. But when you're a contractor, you make a lot of money. So I had a lot of money saved. But I wasn't working at the time, so that's when my quote unquote whole phase started because I had money, but I wasn't working all the time because I would have a contract that would pay me like $60 an hour, but I would only work for a month. So then like that next month I could just fuck off and do whatever the fuck I wanted. And then I got unemployment too. So I
Oh
was really
wow.
exactly. So I had money. So that's when I just started traveling and meeting people and
Hoeing it up.
I don't like when people say that because it makes it seem like I was so like I just had a different dick in me every day. But it was
No,
like
that's not what I meant. Whenever I say that, particularly when I'm talking to you, I know that that's not the case. But what I always loved about you was that, whatever you did, you didn't really give a fuck what anybody had to say about it because that was something that you wanted to do. And if somebody had something to say, you would just roast the shit out of them and continue on.
right,
So,
because I think a big part of that was because for a long time I couldn't do anything I wanted to do because my ex was so controlling, and I didn't realize that at the time because I was like, we started dating when I was 16. And then we broke up when I was like 25, 26. So that was kind of like the only, relationship that I had. And kind of like, I mean, I cheated on him and shit in college, but I don't really count that because
nah, it
I
counted.
huh?
It counted.
Whatever. I don't count it because we were on a quote unquote break.
Oh, well, never mind. Never mind then. Did the break happen before or after you rode this other dude?
I mean, it was in college. So he was actually like, I went to Virginia Tech. And he went to Morgan in Maryland. So that was like 5 hours. So I would see him like twice a month. And then like I was really enjoying my college experience. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
having fun. I was meeting people, going to parties, and he used to get so upset at me for going out. And so one time he called my dorm room and I was like in my friend's dorm room and it was like midnight and he just got mad and he went off on me and I was like, I'm not really feeling this. I'm sorry that, you're not having fun at Morgan or you refuse to have fun, but I'm at Virginia Tech and there's a lot of parties and there's a lot of fun and there's a lot of alcohol and I want to be a part of this. So whatever. So we broke up for like I don't know, like 9 months or something. So in that time frame, I, kind of just
Oh well,
met other
if
people.
it was a nine months ain't a break. That's a like that's a break. That's
It was
two.
weird
That's a couple
though.
relationships for people.
Right, but it was weird though because I was still like visiting him,
Oh, y'all was
and
still fucking.
yeah, we were still fucking, and he was still
Okay.
visiting me, and I'm still having Thanksgiving with his family and stuff. But
Oh,
it was
y'all
just weird.
did he know the person that you were
No, because
with?
it was in college. No, it was at Virginia Tech. No, he didn't. He didn't like. He didn't know anybody there, and he didn't really come visit me in Blacksburg until like my senior year. And at that point, we were like, okay, we're serious now. We're gonna get married, type shit.
Gotcha.
Dumbass.
Gotcha. Well, how old were you when you got out of that? When you finally, I guess, had your awakening in the car and was like, this isn't cool. How old were you?
I think I was either 25 or 26. I was one of those.
You know, I find that women at the age of 26 sort of, I think that's the worst time to date a woman when she's 26, in my experience, because she's usually at 26 trying to refine herself. And this isn't a shot. This is just what I've noticed. She's either trying to refine herself or she's going through something. Usually they do that for about 25, 26, 27, 28, they back on track again. But that 26 is like, that is prime non-dating time as far as I'm concerned.
And I would agree. Well, for me, I would agree because, and I wasn't refinding myself. I was actually finding myself because I had been with someone that was basically like picking out my clothes, was telling me what to wear.
Wow.
And
I would have
yeah,
never guessed that knowing you. Knowing what I know about you, I would have never guessed that.
I mean, because I always felt like, I mean, I seen relationships that like my mom had and stuff like that. And, you know, she was with a broke ass nigga and I wasn't. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is how you keep a man, by listening to him. You know, like he does a lot of nice things for me. I don't really have anything to worry about. Like I've never been in a position where, you know, I needed something and I couldn't get it. Like he took care of me, you know? So, apart from him, I didn't know who I was. So like I really took that period to really find myself. And I found out a lot of good things because I'm like, all right, well, you actually, because like he would make me feel like there was something wrong with me because I like tattoos and I like piercings, and you know, he would like make fun of me. Well, his whole family would make fun of me because I was quote unquote white to them. But I mean, I was raised in California around everybody, so I wasn't used to just like being around, you know, all black people all the time. And so they would just make fun of me because I hadn't heard of certain things or I didn't do certain things, or, you know, I didn't have the same traditions as them, or I didn't listen to the same music as them. So he really, you know, made me feel bad about myself about a lot of stuff. And he always made me feel like I wasn't black enough. And after we broke up, I was just like, I'm going to be who the fuck I want to be. And I like that person. And because I'm fucking dope.
What's one
So,
of the cool things you found out about yourself?
that I'm strong as fuck. And I don't know how I got into that point with that man. Like, when I look back at that relationship, that shit would never happen now. Like, it would never happen now because I really like that person who I was. That wasn't even me. I was basically being somebody else to make him happy. Like I was not happy at all, and I didn't realize that I wasn't happy. So I would say one of the things I really did learn about myself was that there's nothing wrong with me. I am fine just the way I am, and someone is going to love me for me. And I don't have to be anybody else. I don't have to pretend to like certain things. I don't have to wear my hair a certain way. I don't have to dress a certain way. I don't have to be friends with certain people. You know, like I can do what the fuck I want to do. So that was my takeaway from it. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and that's what I did. And anybody that has something to say about it, instead of just just trying to, I guess, shut down and just kind of, I don't know what I used to do with him, but just kind of conform to what he wanted to be. Now I will just look you in your eyes and say, fuck you, because I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be me.
Speaking of not taking no shit, you grew up on the West Coast. I remember a while back you telling me this story about, was it you and Snoop? Like you had like you had an attitude with Snoop Dogg or some shit like that?
God, yes. That's hilarious because my friends in California, I still talk to a lot of them, but like I don't do the whole best friend thing anymore because I think it's stupid. But like my best friend when I was growing up or whatever, we were walking home from school, and like I'm from Long Beach, and like Snoop was always in Long Beach, so he was all big and everybody was like, oh my God and shit everywhere else in the country, but in Long Beach it was like, oh, that's fucking Snoop. So I'm walking home, And there was like a head shop right by my house that I didn't know what it was because I didn't know nothing about that stuff. But I remember he used to go there all the time. So I was walking home with my friend, and like he wasn't paying attention because I'm so fucking short. I was like, I think at that point I was like 4'8" or something. And like he wasn't paying attention and he just like bumped into me. And I'm poor at the time and I had like these pair of shoes, the Nikes that got the air real big on the side. That was my first pair of like fresh ass shoes. So I
Oh,
used to
the
clean
the
them up.
Pippins?
Yes, those were my first pair of like nice shoes. So I remember he stepped on my shoe and I got so mad. I was like, yo, watch where the fuck you going. I mean, I didn't say no, but I did tell him to watch where the fuck he was going. And he was like, in Snoop Dogg voice, he was like, my bad, my bad. And then my friend, she was just laughing so hard. So every time I talk to her on the phone, she's always like, you remember that time Snoop stepped on your shoe? I'm like, bitch, shut up. Why you bringing up old shit? Because I was so mad. Like, I was pissed.
You
I
weren't
didn't give a
taking
fuck.
no shit.
No, no. Them were my motherfucking shoes. I was like, bruh, this is the first pair of shoes. Before that, I was wearing like Etonics and shit. So I'm like, yo, I got some Nikes. I used to shine them bitches up with a toothbrush, and you gonna step on them?
What
Like,
color
fuck
were they? Were
on.
they the white ones?
No, they were the blue and the white ones.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. He stepped on him. You was about to whoop Snoop's ass when you.
I will never forget that. And then my friend, she always reminds me because her birthday was actually like 2 weeks ago, and I called her, wished her happy birthday. And of course, you remember that time we were walking home from school, and I'm like, bitch, why do you bring this up all the time? Like, damn. And she said, because that shit's funny because he's like fucking like famous as shit. And like everybody fucking knows Snoop. And you was just like, watch where the fuck you going. And I was like, yo,
I think I
my
think it's
shoes.
I think it's by time Snoop. I think it's by time he make that situation right. I think it's by time he get you a new pair.
Well, he probably don't even remember my black ass. But I don't know. He used to fuck my aunt, so he might. I don't know.
God
I don't know.
damn. So how do you know he was fucking your aunt?
You know how when you're a kid and you see stuff but you don't understand and then you get older and you're like, holy shit. It was one of them situations because my aunt had like all these pictures of him and then like my mom and my aunt used to hang out with him and stuff, but like we were never around. But it was always my aunt because my mom, she had my stepdad, another fuck nigga. And I was just like, oh, look, they're friends with Snoop. No, somebody's fucking Snoop, because he ain't spending all this time with my aunt, this woman, and they just going to the park together and having picnics and shit.
Damn,
They was
she
fucking.
might have been cool as hell.
No,
Your
because
your
like,
aunt wasn't cool. Like what's up?
yeah, she was cool as hell because I remember I used to love going over her house because she would let us do what we wanted to do. But as a parent, I see now that we did what we wanted to do so that her ass could go out, feeding us SpaghettiOs and shit. But she was fucking that nigga.
That's why Snoop liked to go over there too, because she would let him do whatever he wanted to do.
Right. But I bet his ass was saying eat fucking hot dogs with mayonnaise on it like we were. Shit.
Oh man, that is hilarious. I'm gonna send this. I don't know Snoop. I'm gonna send this clip to him. I think he needs to know. I think
Oh my
he needs to
goodness.
know. I'm trying to get you them. I'm trying to get you some more
I'm
Pippins.
gonna give him the details. I don't remember what year it was, but we were on Anaheim in Terminal, 11th and Terminal in Anaheim, and we were by the KFC, and we were by the taco stand. So if you remember Snoop, send me some Pippin size 3.5 children. Thank you.
Wait. You still wearing this? Your feet ain't grown none.
Well, actually, motherfucker, my foot did grow half a size from pregnancy. But
So it's a
it
3.5 now,
depends on the
size
shoe.
children.
So it's probably like a 4 now. So yeah, send me a 4, Snoop. That'd be cool.
A 4 in children.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
I mean, I'm fucking 4'10".
Damn,
What
you
kind
said
of feet am I supposed to have?
he got smart feet.
Shit, I'm supposed to be walking around this motherfucker in some size 15s or some shit so I don't get laughed at.
I
I
thought
mean,
you
you
had.
the one that got them big ass feet. I remember you.
Oh man, don't get
Man,
on
you
me.
shit. What size you wear? Like a 15?
Yeah, that is
Buying them
correct.
long ass Jordans and shit. Get the fuck up out of here. I remember you sent me some fucking shoes and was like, what I think of them. I said, I think they look like some fucking boats. That's what I think. Like, damn.
Whatever, man. At least I got adult feet. Like, what you talking
Right.
about?
Shit.
I
You got
got
giant feet. I mean,
man.
it was a point where your ass could not go to the store and buy some shoes. I think that's really improved for you because
You
you had to
right.
go to the special store and shit to get shoes.
I actually still do. I don't. I order my shit now. I just found a comfort with that. My friend Josh, whenever like if some J's come out, if I go to the store to get them and they're because we wear the same size. If I go to the store to get them and they're not there, he's the one that bought them, and I will call him and be like, Did you just come by such and such and buy these J's? He'd be like, yeah, man, I just got them J's. I'd be like, man, get out of here. So likewise, if I got them, if I went and bought them and they wasn't there, he would call me. So usually, because they only keep like 2 or 3 pairs. Sometimes in our size, 1 pair to 15. So we didn't ever really have to get in line because nobody else is buying them shits.
Right, and it's the same thing for me. Like when Jordans used to come out, because I had a very extensive Jordan collection, but I donated all my shoes to a coworker that she had 3 children, but she was the only person working. Like her husband wasn't working, and she was telling me about how her sons didn't have any shoes for school. So at the time, I was pregnant, and I was like, I need to grow the fuck up, So I gave her like 15 pairs of my Jordans.
You miss them?
Actually, I don't know.
That was nice of you.
I don't even wear tennis shoes anymore. Like, I got some fucking Pumas now. That's how washed I am. And those are the only pair of tennis shoes I have. Like, now I wear like flats and I wear Uggs. Shut the fuck up. I kept one pair of Jordans, like, because they were my favorite, but.
Which ones were those?
The cool grays, 11.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's cool.
So I might pass those on to Millie,
Yeah. She'll be wearing them next week.
Shut up.
All right, so let's
My child is
transition.
actually very small for her age, so she's not gonna. She's probably gonna be about 5 feet tall.
You think she's gonna be taller than you?
Huh? Well, yeah, she is gonna be taller than me, but she's not gonna be tall. She's probably only gonna be like 5 feet because she's in the 15th percentile for height and weight. So she's small. She is very small.
Oh, she is so precious. Oh.
I know, my daughter's so cute. When I was pregnant, like, I prayed that she wasn't ugly because I was like, man, I done did some fucked up shit in my life. I'm gonna have an ugly kid. I was like, this is gonna be my punishment. My kid gonna be ugly as shit. And I'm gonna have to keep him fresh so people won't talk about it.
But would you have known if you had an ugly kid?
Oh, trust me. As a parent, we know when your kid is ugly. We just don't say nothing.
Oh, okay.
Parents know when their kid's ugly. They do. They sit up here and act like, no, they know. They know, because I done had some conversations with one of my friends, and she was saying that up until like 6 months, she was really scared that he was going to be ugly. But then after he grew out of it, she was like, he was cute. But she was like, he was ugly for a little while. She was like, I didn't want him to take pictures or nothing. And I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Can't relate.
Let's transition over into motherhood and to maybe a few more a little bit of heavier topics. You lost your mom. How old were you when you lost your mom?
I was 15 when my mom died. She had breast cancer. And that shit sucked. Because she got diagnosed in November of, when was it? I think it was 1995. And she didn't tell us. So we didn't know what was going on. Because my mom was very much like me in the sense that she was weird. Because she would just do some weird shit. And I used to be embarrassed by her. But now I see, no, she was just cool as hell. And she didn't give a fuck just like me. Because I remember she shaved her head and she left some bangs like a Mexican. And I was like, and she was like, you like my hair? I was like, no. And she was like, well, you don't have to like it because I like it. And I was like, okay.
That's
in my
dope,
little
though.
room, in my Nintendo. But then she finally told us, that she found a lump. Well, she went to the doctor and they found a lump in her left breast. And she would have to do, chemo and stuff. So I used to go to chemo with my mom. And one of the things that I remember about my mom is I really didn't realize how sick she was because she never really showed it. Like, she never complained about anything. And she she was still did what she needed to do as a mom. And she didn't give a fuck about having a bald head either. She used to rock the shit out of her bald head. Like, sometimes she would wear a wig, but she really didn't care. She really didn't. Like, my friends used to come over to the house and they used to be looking at my mom and my mom be looking at them like, what the fuck you looking at? Guess, bitch, I'm bald. I got cancer. You got any other questions? So I really missed that about her. And then when her hair started growing back, she started doing weird shit to that. And I was just like, Ma, I can't take you. I just really can't take you nowhere because you just want to be weird. Because she put like some finger waves and shit in it. I was like, Mom, I love you, but come on. Like, come on. But that's how we ended up in Tennessee because my mom is originally from Tennessee. So I think my mom knew for a long time she was going to die because her cancer and stuff, it just wasn't responding to the treatment. And at that time, they didn't really have as much as they do now. Like, now they have so much stuff. And sometimes I get angry of all the stuff that they have now that they didn't have when she was alive because she would still be here. And one of the things that really pisses me off about her situation was my mom. She was so vain about her damn titties. Like, I really wish she would have just chopped them motherfuckers off because she still would have been here if she would have just, said, okay, well, I'm just going to make my peace and not have no titties. But at the time, um, health insurance and stuff, they weren't required to, cover like breast reconstruction. Like, they didn't have to do anything but cut them off. Well, anything you wanted to do after that, you had to pay for that out of pocket. And we were poor, so my mom wasn't getting any breast implants. There was going to be no reconstruction for her. So she just decided to keep them. And she had the lump removed, but it just kept spreading, and it spread to her other breast. And she eventually cut one of them off, and then it spread to her bones, and then she died. I mean, it sucked because I remember how sick she was, and I had to do everything for her because basically my stepfather, he was with her during the day because he worked at night. And then when I came home from school, I took care of her, after school. And like, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. And I felt like I really didn't get to enjoy like being a kid because I had to take care of my mom. And what's fucked up about that is we're living in Tennessee with her whole family. And nobody helped her. Nobody wanted to help her. And I'm like, so that's why I don't really have a relationship with my family in Tennessee because I am related to a whole fucking county, but nobody helped us do anything. Like, I had to, pick up my brother from school. I had to sign his permission slip. I had to help him with his homework. I had to do the same thing for myself because my mom, she got to a point where she couldn't even write, and she couldn't walk. She couldn't do anything for herself. So I had to do everything. And that shit sucked. So I was ready for her to die because I was like, this isn't even my mom anymore. Like, she's not happy. And she is basically just holding on for me. So I'll never forget, like, my last Mother's Day with her. I was spending Mother's Day with her, and she just randomly asked me, and she said, this is my last Mother's Day. And I was like, Mom, don't say that. It's not funny. She was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be my last one. And I was like, okay. And she said, well, if I die, are you going to be afraid of me if I come to you? And I looked at her. I was like, look, I don't do that ghost shit, Mom. Like, for real. Like,
You told her
I was
that?
like, well, I didn't say shit, but I was like, Mom, like, seriously, no. I was like, I'm good on that. Please don't do that. So, and she was right, because that was her last Mother's Day. Because Mother's Day is in May, and she died in July. She died exactly 30 days after her 36th birthday. And she had been in the hospital for like 6 weeks. And it was really messed up because she had got so sick to the point where she wouldn't let me visit her in the hospital because she didn't want me to see her. So I remember she finally, let us, see her. So I was excited because I hadn't seen my mom for like a month. Like, I called her on the phone every day. And one time I did sneak up there to see her because I had a little boyfriend that I was using for his car. So I made him, take me to go see my mom at the hospital. So, I brought her flowers and stuff like that. And I was, I wasn't supposed to be there, so she ain't snitch on me. So she finally, was like, okay, well, I want everybody to come see me, because she wouldn't let anybody see her because she really didn't like the way she looked, because she lost all her hair and she lost like so much weight. Like, she was really sickly looking. And then the cancer was like starting to spread to her skin. Because I remember when she was at home, I used to, pick scabs and stuff off of her, because they used to, they were really uncomfortable for her. So I used to pick scabs and stuff off her and polish her nails and stuff. But I'll never forget, because I was spending that at my grandmother's house, and the phone rang at like 4 a.m, and I woke up and I was like, she's gone. I know she's gone. But that was the same morning that I was supposed to go see her. So then that morning, I like woke up, got in the shower, excited to go see my mom. I went in the living room and everybody was just crying. And I was like, she's dead, isn't she? And they were like, yeah. So it was just like a really weird feeling, because I was like, I don't want to say I was happy, but I was, you know, I was happy
It,
that she wasn't suffering anymore, because
it was a weird relief, kind of.
yes, it was. I was relieved for her, because she was in so much pain to the point where she had a morphine drip like installed in her body. She was on so much medication, and it was just really sad, because everybody was, like, crying, and I mean, I was crying too, but I felt like I was the person that was not as sad as everybody else. I mean, I'm not trying to say that, I wasn't sad when my mom died, but it was different for me because I saw what she was going through. And I was very close to my mom. Like, I talked to her all the time. My mom was like my best friend. So it was really hard for me. Cause I, got depressed after that, because I felt like I didn't have anybody anymore. And, and that's how I ended up in Virginia with my father. And that's another story that I don't really want to talk about, because that's a whole nother podcast. But
So let me ask a few questions, because I
sure.
know that the years following Mother's Day would be tough for you. Were you angered by Mother's Day off of the thought that your mom could still be here, or what, or did it, or was it more sadness and grief?
It was it was sadness for me because I used to do stuff for my mom on Mother's Day all the time. Like, she would give me my little allowance and I would go buy her little presents and stuff. Like, I always love, doing stuff for my mom. Like, even if it was just, giving her flowers or something. And I just, I didn't like that I couldn't do anything for her anymore. So I think it went from sadness to like anger because I started seeing, I used to hate see people, talk about their mother and how horrible they were. And I'm like, well, shit, at least you have one. And at least, if she really wanted to, she could change, who she is or was to be a better person. I can't change my fucking situation. Her ass is dead,
Yeah.
So it was anger for me. But then it got to a point where, I just didn't celebrate it anymore. I just didn't care. And I think I was angry because like I was with my ex at the time and I was doing shit for his mom, because he didn't really care about Mother's Day as much as I did. So I was the one that was doing stuff for his mom. I'm cooking Mother's Day dinner and shit for other people's mothers and shit like that. So that really fucked with me because I'm like, you don't want to do anything for your mom and you leaving it up to me. Like, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now I love Mother's Day. So
that's what I was about to ask you, and to see how it's changed. Remember, I used to call you every year on Mother's Day just so we could talk about something other than Mother's Day.
Yep, because it was just like I wouldn't even sign on to social media. I would have like my little status like "fuck Mother's Day" or something, or just another day. Because I just really didn't. I was bitter as fuck. I mean, why? I wanted my mom too. Shit.
Yeah.
I want to go to church with my mom. I want to give my mom flowers. I want to see my mom in them little ugly suits that they wear to church with the big ass hat. Like, I want that shit too. But I was angry. But I appreciate it because you did call me like every Mother's Day, to get my mind off of it. So you the real MVP, my nigga.
Yeah, I didn't want you over there suffering. You know what I mean? You had your own way of dealing with it, and at a time when everybody in the world was celebrating Mother's Day, I just felt like, you know what? Let's talk about something else. At least for these few hours we're on the phone. We laughing at something else, and I'm glad that helped. But now you're a mom yourself, so like were you trying to get pregnant? Because I know for you it was you thought that you thought you weren't going to have any kids, so you were like super surprised.
I was very surprised because I had pretty much, every woman approaching 30, you feel like you got to be married, you got to have children, you got to have this, you got to have that. And I felt like, I had been told by my doctors for a long time that, if I wanted to have children, I needed to have them before 30 because, shit wasn't looking good for me in the cancer arena. And like the older that I went without having children, that kind of like raised my chances of getting cancer. So I was like, well, I made my peace with not having any children. So I didn't think I was going to have any. And then one day, went to the beach for the weekend and got drunk and high and pregnant. So that was awesome.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, there you go. What was your first thought when you found out you were pregnant?
I was actually happy. Like, because I had a good job, I had benefits, I had a car, I had a place to. I mean, I was living in DC, so obviously I had to move, but I wasn't in a position like, I didn't have anything and I wouldn't be able to take care of the baby. So I did think about having an abortion, but then when I really thought about it, I was like, you don't really. I couldn't do it. Like, I am very pro-choice, and I always made jokes on Twitter, like, if I ever got pregnant and I'm not married, then I'm getting this motherfucker scraped out of me, blah, blah, blah,
Oh,
whatever.
come on, man.
Man, I was terrible. I was
Yeah,
terrible.
I remember. I remember.
But then when I pissed on that stick and that bitch was like, haha, you pregnant, I was like, okay, well, I guess I better start planning the baby shower, you know? But yeah, I mean, actually being in that position, I was like, I could never do it. I respect women that are able to do that. I have so much respect for them because I could not fucking do it. Like there was no, I just could not do it. I could not. Like I really couldn't. I'm all about women's rights and I feel like they should have the choice to do whatever they want with their bodies. But me, Summer, I cannot do that. I cannot. I
Yeah,
just could
you used to talk real tough. You used to talk real tough up until the point when Millie came out. Then shit changed.
not.
You
Made
wasn't
me
tough
soft
summer no more.
baby shit. She made me soft as hell. Like she really like changed my whole life. Like she has really been a blessing for me because I really changed a lot. Like I'm a mom and you know, being a mother, you always have to, think about your child with everything that you do. And I feel like she has made me make better decisions. And it's just for like the smallest things, like, as far as money and stuff, like I used to just buy myself whatever because I had the money. But now I'm like, okay, I'm going to save. Or if I do want to do something, or if I do want to buy something, it's always for her. So she has changed me in so many ways where I'm always, thinking about other people now because, for me, I don't want to say I was selfish, but I went through a period where I was selfish, where I didn't care about, you know, other people that much because I felt like nobody ever really cared about me. So I said, well, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to do what I want to do. And when I was pregnant and after I had her, I'm like, that really made me consider other people and what they're going through and their situations and stuff like that because you really don't know. And then, my child, she has like the sweetest personality. So I just look at her and she just make me feel bad about, shit that I was thinking that she don't even know about. Like
Oh
I'd be
man.
mad about something at work and I just look at her and I'm like, I can't even be mad because she's just so damn cute.
So tell us about when you got your breast cancer diagnosis and what you
And
went through mentally.
oh my goodness. So I decided to look for a new doctor because the doctor that I had was they basically only care about you if you're pregnant. So I'm like, all right, well, I need to find another doctor because, my pregnancy was so horrible. I had PTSD from it. I still have, health issues from my pregnancy because it was so fucking terrible. I was like, I really want to, I want to find another doctor that actually cares about me and not just the baby inside me. And I don't have a baby inside me, which means that they're not going to give a shit about me. So I found another doctor who was younger. And I prefer younger doctors because they seem to be more, um, they seem to want to do, the new technology and stuff. Like I had been trying to get tested for the breast cancer gene for a very long time, but no doctor would do it for me because they told me it wasn't something I need to worry about. And
Your
I was just
mom
like,
had it. Like, what do you mean? Like, it was nothing that you had a
well, let
history of
me
it.
tell you, I was supposed to start getting like mammograms and stuff when I turned 18. My insurance wouldn't cover it. I basically had to fight to and they still wouldn't give me a mammogram. They just gave me like breast ultrasounds
Oh,
because
this was pre ACA. No, this couldn't have been this. Yeah, this was what year was this?
for what?
So that they wouldn't your doctor wouldn't give you a mammogram or they wouldn't cover it because that's something
2001.
2000 what?
2001.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So this was pre Affordable Care Act because that's different now. That's
Yeah.
actually something that that's one of the beautiful things about the Affordable Care Act. That's your preventive care. Your like if you got a history of your family history of breast cancer, that stuff is covered for free. That's
Right.
covered up front.
So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
right.
Cool.
So no, like I've always had like pretty good insurance with all of my jobs. So, but they wouldn't cover it. They would not. They were like, you're 21, you're 22, you're 23, you're 24, you're 25. We're not giving you a mammogram. And I'm like, okay, but I have a family history. And then one doctor went as far as it was like, well, can you get your mother's health files? And I was like, motherfucker, my mother died when I was 15 years old. I don't even know where to start. I don't even
Right.
know how to get that shit. At 24 years old, I don't know how to do this. And they were like, okay, well, since you can't, give us that information, and we understand that you have a history. So they would let me get, the ultrasounds and stuff. And they never found anything in it. And I never had a lump. So, I was cool. But I did get my first lump when I was pregnant, because when you're pregnant, they take extra care. They really give a shit about you then. So found a lump, and I got pregnancy hormones and shit. So instantly I was like, fuck, I'm gonna die. This is fucked up. And I went and I had a biopsy and everything, and it came back negative. So I was cool with that. So that was my first scare. I mean, I was scared shitless because my mom's was on the left side, and I'm like, fuck, like this is real, because I was really, really scared because I was pregnant, and they told me straight up that if I did have cancer, I wouldn't be able to keep my baby. And I was like, and then they also told me that Millie was probably going to be the only baby that I could have, because my uterus was all fucked up, because I'm only 4'10", so I don't have like normal sized people parts. So, and then I had a
Damn,
fibroid.
Summer. I'm not
Hey,
laughing. I'm laughing at how you said it. Just the way you say
I
shit
mean,
is just. Anyway, go ahead.
so, and then I had a fibroid that was growing faster than her. They said was probably going to crush her. So, um, shit was fucked up. So when I finally got those results that everything was negative, I was like, yes, this is great. So I had Millie, and I'm like, and then after I had her, they told me I needed to start getting mammograms, because after you have a child, like the density in your breast tissue changes, and you need to have different kinds of analysis done, because before I had these little ass sad titties. So it was hard for them to like, do stuff for me because my titties was too little. And my titties, they had too much fat. So they couldn't see anything if there was something there because it was too much fat. But once you have a baby and you produce milk and stuff, like the whole just biology of your breast just changes. So they told me I was in a better position to get mammograms now, but I was breastfeeding, so I couldn't get they didn't recommend me getting a mammogram while I was breastfeeding. So they were like, when you stop breastfeeding, you don't have any more breast milk, you can you should get a mammogram. So I'm like, all right, cool. So lucky for me, my child never wanted to stop breastfeeding. She was just addicted to my damn titties. So I breastfed her for 18 months, and I'm very proud of that, because breastfeeding is very fucking hard. Like, it is a labor of love. That is the hardest thing that I've ever done. Like, it is very hard. And I commend all women who breastfeed, because that shit is hard. And it make your nipples look ugly as fuck too, because your nipples look like thumbs. They so fucking big and black, and oh my
Damn.
god, it's just crazy. So I found my new doctor, and she went over my family history, and she said, I see that your mom died really young. And I was like, yeah. She said, well, I think you should get tested for the gene. And I was like, whatever, okay. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm going to test you, blah, 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 whatever. So then I got a letter from my insurance company, and they were like, you trying to get this test done? And I was like, yeah, like, what the fuck? And they were like, okay, well, we're going to review, your information before a panel to see if we'll pay for this test, because the test costs $10,000.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, do what you got to do. Shit. I mean, cool, I guess. I don't know. Because I really didn't think that I had it, because there's nobody else in my family that have any history of breast cancer. Like my mom was the only one. So I felt like, if she did pass it down to me, then I really didn't think it was like, I didn't think I carried the gene. I'll just say that. So I'll never forget. I went back she called me in and she was like, I got your results back and I want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. So at that same time, I had took like a full panel STD check, everything, because I always do that. If I'm with somebody or not, you should always do that. Every 6 months, every year, whatever you got to do, always do it. So I had did like a full panel or whatever. So she called me in and my first thought was, fuck, I got AIDS. This white nigga gave me AIDS. Shit. But that was like my first thought. I never even thought about the test. So, never even thought about the test. So then she called me in the office and she was like, I just want to let you know that you carry the gene for breast cancer, which is called BRCA1. And I was like, what? She was like, and, based on your mom's history and the fact that you have lumps now, because I still was carrying the lump that they found when I was pregnant, she said, you have a 95% chance of getting breast cancer in the next 6 years. I was like, are you fucking serious? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so what do I need to do? And she said, well, I strongly suggest you remove your breast and your ovaries. She said, so you really need to think, do you want to have more children? Because not only does the BRCA1 gene, it also gives you an increased chance of ovarian cancer. And I was just like, God damn. So basically, I'm just going to be a man. Like, what the fuck?
Damn.
I ain't going to have no titties and I ain't going to have no lady balls. Like, what the fuck? So that really fucked me up. Because I was just like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I really don't know what to do. I don't want to die. I have my daughter. She's 1 year old. It was like a lot to take in. So then I decided, I said, all right, well, these motherfuckers just gonna have to go. I'm just gonna have to chop these titties off because I'm not dying. Like, I am not dying. And I'm just gonna have to die of some other shit because I ain't dying of breast cancer. You got me fucked up. So before I could schedule my surgery, I had to have all these tests done to make sure that there was nothing there. So I get a mammogram. And they found another lump on my left side. So I thought it was the same thing. So the test came back and they were like, okay, well, we don't know what the fuck this is. And I was like, okay, so do I have cancer? And they were like, we don't know. They was like, we really need to remove this breast. And I was like, okay. So, yeah, you don't know if I have cancer. They're like, well, we took sections of it. We did the biopsy, but it's inconclusive. We don't know what this is, and we've never seen anything like this before. And I'm like, fuck, Sommar, what the fuck kind of life are you living where you got some rare shit growing in your titty, like, and nobody knows what the fuck it is? Like, I had to do another biopsy I had to go to another doctor. Like, I went to the top breast doctor in the state of Maryland, and she's like the president of breast cancer whatever and for John Hopkins. And she saw it and she was like, I don't like the way this looks. She was like, this does not look good. And I'm just like, do I have cancer? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, look, for y'all to be some fucking doctors, how y'all don't know shit,
Right.
At this point, I'm getting angry because, and they put my, case before a review board. So I had like all these like top level doctors looking at it and they still did not know what it was. Like, they were like, we've never seen anything like this before, but it's not good. Like, this whole left titty, this got to go and we got to get this shit out of here. So I was like, all right, the titty got to go. I get it. Because before I was just like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just cut my tits off, blah, 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 whatever. But at this point, it's like, okay, well, you might need to do chemo, you might need to do radiation, and you may not be able to do breast reconstruction right away because we're going to have to, treat everything. And I'm just like, okay, shit's getting really real. Y'all talking about chemo and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, how am I going to take care of my daughter? Like, what am I going to do about my job? Like, I was really stressed out. I was like stressed out to the point where my hair was falling out because I was really scared. And then I felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to because nobody really understood, because a lot of people were just like, "Oh, you get to get implants. You're so lucky." Bitch, these are not implants. Like, this
Right.
isn't fun. This isn't cute. This is not that at all. Like, I'm getting ready to lose my breasts, my nipples, everything, and have no feeling, nothing. Like, that doesn't sound fun to me. Like, that, I don't understand why you guys think this is such a cool surgery and this is so great. Like, I'm getting ready to have like, the surgery was 6 hours long, and they took all my lymph nodes on my left side to make sure I didn't have cancer. And it was just a very grueling process. So after, I had my surgery or whatever, they removed both my breasts, and that was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, because they took lymph nodes from my left side, and they tested those because they want to see if whatever was growing, since they didn't know what it was, they didn't want to call it cancer, but I think they knew that it was, and they just wasn't 100% sure, so they didn't want to tell me. But they just wanted to make sure that it didn't spread anywhere. So after they removed my whole breast, they pretty much told me that I had like stage 0 cancer, which basically meant that if I had waited another year, I would have had like full blown breast cancer, and I would have had to do chemo and radiation and everything else. So I basically got really lucky. So I feel really weird calling myself a survivor, because I feel
I
like,
was just about to ask you. That was going to be my next question. How you felt about the term survivor?
like, technically I am a survivor, because I didn't really know what I had until they removed my breast. Like, I was already getting everything removed anyway. But and they really couldn't give me like any of the pathology and stuff until after they did it. But when I read the report, they were like, fancy science terms that meant, okay, this shit is going to be cancer next week, basically, or it's a little bit of cancer here and it's a little bit of there, and we don't like these cells, and she got some shit going on, and what the fuck is this coming out your nipple? So my left titty is a bitch. Like, it was all fucked up. So I feel really weird about the term, because there's so many women that have to do chemo, have to do radiation, have lost their hair, have lost, just everything, because it's a really hard cancer to have, in the sense that a lot of insurance companies, they're assholes about it, because they feel like some stuff shouldn't be covered. And also, a lot of employers, I mean, traditionally are not very friendly to women. So sick women they just don't treat them well. That's just how it is. So I feel weird saying that about myself, but technically I am. I mean, I ain't got
How
no teeth.
how do you feel about these nonprofit organizations for breast cancer, like Susan G. Komen? I think there's another one. How do you feel? What's your honest opinion of those?
Um, my honest opinion of them is, I like that they bring awareness to women, and they have women, actually, feeling their breasts, looking for lumps, and, you know, giving women that, may not have insurance, or their insurance may not cover certain things for them, giving them opportunities to help them get mammograms and imaging done. Like, I really, appreciate the awareness for preventative action, but like, some of the stuff I don't understand, because all the money doesn't go where it needs to go. Like, it needs to go into research, and I feel like, with any nonprofit, or with a lot of those organizations, like, it doesn't all the money doesn't go where it should go. So I donate. I do what I'm supposed to do, but I have mixed emotions about it, because I feel like it only benefits like a certain type of women. I mean, the cases of black women having breast cancer are really fucking high. And it's sad because a lot of them, they don't have adequate insurance. And I feel like, some of those nonprofits could step up and help those black women. And I feel like they don't. So I'm not an expert on it because I haven't, looked deep into stuff because honestly, after my mom died, you would think that would make me like a breast cancer ride or die person, but it didn't. Like, I didn't like reading stuff about it. I didn't like, learning about it. I didn't like hearing about it. So I kind of shied away from stuff. Like, I would, donate money to organizations and stuff, but as far as, doing actual research and, oh, I'm going to give it to this program and not this program, I really didn't do that because it was just hard for me. I don't know. It was just one of those things. It's weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but I really just did not want to know. I kind of cut the breast cancer thing off. I didn't want to know.
So where are you at with it now? You're having your breast reconstructed?
Yes, I just had my second surgery for reconstruction where they put my final implants in. Because my first surgery, they actually put in like these temporary implants. And those things fucking suck because the process is really interesting because what they do is they cut all your titty meat out, every single drop. And because I breastfed my daughter, my nipples was trash. So they were like, okay, well, and then on my left nipple was fucked up because they were finding stuff growing in there. So they said that because some people that have just a preventative surgery, they're able to keep their nipples. But me, because I was just all fucked up in the cancer game, they was like, you can't keep your nipples. I was like, damn. So I'm about to be out here looking like a fucking Barbie doll. Cool.
I gotta get rid of my nipples too?
Right. I'm like, damn. My nipples is dope. You know what I'm saying? I had my nipples there still, and I was like, man, whatever. Just take them. Do what the fuck you gotta do, because I'm not dying. Like, I'm not dying. You just kiss my ass, because I am not going out like that. So, they take all your titty meat out. They took my nipples, and then they put like I'll just call it, they put like a balloon under my chest muscle. And they filled up the balloon with like saline or whatever to stretch my chest muscle out because I don't have any fat or anything on my chest. It's like just skin. That's it. Because they basically gutted my titties out and left like the skin behind. And they cut some of the skin off, and then they made me like some little nipples. Like my plastic surgeon, I love her ass. Like, she is so fucking dope. We be talking on Twitter and stuff. She is dope as fuck. But she used some of the extra skin to make me like some little nipples or whatever. And they put this implant like a balloon under my chest, and they fill it up. And I had a port in my chest where they would fill it up with saline. And every week I would go and they would put saline in my chest and to like blow my titties up. So it was crazy because as they're injecting the saline into my chest, I could just see my titties getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was so crazy because I would go there and I would be one size, and when I'm leaving I'm another size. Like, my tits were fucking huge. And the shit hurt so bad because it's stretching my chest muscle because I don't have anything to hold an implant in but my chest muscle. So that's why they needed to stretch it. But that was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life because my left side was really fucked up because they had to take lymph nodes and stuff from that. So I have a lot of scars and stuff on that side. And I actually, had to go to physical therapy and stuff because I had some nerve damage from the surgery. Because they really had to dig into the left side because, like I said, that bitch tried to kill me. The left titty bitch tried to kill me. And so, they filled them up or whatever. So after you and then the awesome thing about this is you get to pick what size you want to be.
That was my next question. So what was your thought process Cause you used to really be like down on your tits. Like, what was your thought process and where you wanted to go with it? Like, now the world is your oyster. Like, what's up?
Right. See, as you have to understand it, when I'm going through this, I was still kind of depressed about losing my breast because, it's like you don't feel like a woman anymore. And I felt like, breastfeeding was very special to me. And I'm like, if I have another kid, I can't breastfeed my kid because I don't have no fucking nipples and I don't have any titties. Like, I can't feed them saline. Like, what the fuck? So, I was like, you know what? I don't really care because before pregnancy, I was a 36A. After pregnancy, I was a 36 triple D. Like, that shit was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew titties overnight. Like, at first, when they first started growing, I was like, oh, this is dope. I finally got some titties. And then I got to a C, and I was like, yo, this shit is dope as fuck. I got to a D. And I was like, okay, this is still cool, but, I'm good. I got to a double D. I said, okay, you know what? This ain't cool no more. And I got to a triple D and had to put deodorant and shit on my titties. I was like, you know what? This is bullshit. I was like, my fucking back hurts. I was like, I can't believe I wanted these things for so long. These things fucking suck. And I'm like, damn, I'm fucking sweating and I'm dropping food in my titties. My titties hungry. Like, I can't find bras no more. That's cute. Because I used to buy little $10 bras at Walmart and stuff because I didn't need no support. I didn't have any fucking titties. But now I got to spend a whole paycheck on a bra that's the same color as a Band-Aid and shit because they don't have stuff. Like, I literally grew titties overnight. So when they asked me to pick my size, I was like, well, I definitely don't want to be a fucking A cup, like, because that shit sucked. So I chose to be a C. So that's what I am. I'm a big C, actually, because I was like, can you make them a little bit bigger? And she was like, all right, I'll do whatever you want. She was like, they're going to be perky as hell. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm actually in between a C and a D, but I don't really know because I don't have to wear bras anymore. So I haven't worn a bra since April.
I was about to say, so you don't wear bras at all?
Nope, I don't have to because
So
they perky as fuck.
Did
And they
they?
never come back.
Did your plastic surgeon? I guess from an aesthetic point of view, did she reconstruct areola and nipples for you?
No, right now I have nipple flaps, and that's for another surgery I'm going to have in about 6 months to a year, where she's going to take skin from my C-section scar, and she's actually going to make areolas and a nipple for me.
That's creative.
Yeah, I mean, she is like the best. She is awesome. I actually got a recommendation from her because after I found out about, my diagnosis, I was looking for people to talk to because I felt like my friends were just like, oh, girl, that ain't nothing to worry about. And I'm just like, bitch, I'm crying. How many times have y'all seen me cry? I am scared. And y'all telling me I should be happy about getting new titties. So I was like, I need to talk to other people, And then my sister, I tried to talk to her about it. And my sister, like I told you previously, I can't spend a whole lot of time with her because she drives me crazy. So then she just started giving me a long list of all her friends that's died of cancer. And I was just like, helpful? You know what, you depressing bitch. I ain't got nothing else to say to you. So I started, I actually found a girl on Instagram that lived in the area and went through the same thing. But her surgery was a little bit different because hers was strictly preventative. Like, she didn't have to do any of the things that I did as far as the lymph nodes and, them having to take my nipples and extra skin and stuff like that. She didn't have to do that. So, I talked to her about it and I found out that we actually had the same breast surgeon. So I was like, well, can you tell me about your plastic surgeon? And she told me about, well, I think you should use her. So I did my research on her and I saw that she was one of the only doctors in the state of Maryland that actually does this special reconstruction where they take your stomach fat and turn it into titties. Hmm. And I was like, so it's basically a tummy tuck. And I was like, oh, I'm getting that. So then when I went for my consultation, she was like, "You don't have enough belly fat for that." And I'm grabbing it. I'm like, "Bitch, do you see this? Like, look at this." And she was like, "That's not enough." And I was like, "What do bitches got to have to get?" I was like, "Are you?" She was like, "I can't turn that into two titties. I only can turn it into one." I was like, "But look at it. Look how much it is." And she was like, "You really aren't as big as you think you are, and I cannot make any titties with that." And I was like, "Fuck. All right, well, I'll get the implants then. Damn, shit."
Wow. Wow. When are you going to? When is she going to? I guess I don't know what it's. I guess complete it. Like when is she going to? What is the stages? Like so you did the reconstructive. So now you have the implants, and the next thing she's going to do the areola and the nipple.
Yeah.
Why the? How long in between? How long of a wait is it, and why is there a wait?
Well, with the first surgery I had, I could have had my implants with the first surgery, because that's when they basically pump you up until the size that you want to be. And after you get to that size, they want you to stay that size for about 3 months. So 3 months after that, was like the summertime. And she was like, "You know what? I don't really recommend you having surgery in the summertime." She was like, "You need to enjoy yourself." She was like, "You've had a really rough year. I don't want you to have another surgery and be on bed rest, again." She's like, "I really want you to enjoy your surgery." So that's why I scheduled it for this time. But
That's
usually,
real cool advice.
yeah, it was because I was just basically just trying to knock everything out. And she was like, "You know what? You don't have to do that." And I was like, "Okay." But I really miss sleeping on my stomach because, like, the implants that I had before this, they were rock hard. Like, they were so hard. Like, I felt uncomfortable hugging people because I was basically digging into them. And, sex and shit awkward as fuck because, I just got these rocks standing up on my chest and I couldn't sleep on my stomach because it was basically having two little pregnant bellies on my chest.
Oh
And
damn.
this shit was just really uncomfortable. So now I got these squishy titties and I can't stop touching them because they feel so great. And they do. I mean, they feel really real and they real squishy. Like I'm really happy because I can sleep on my stomach now. The reason why they space everything out is because they want you to heal. Because there's a lot of scarring. Like I have like scars under my boobs, and then I have a scar that goes down where my nipple used to be. And they just want to make sure that all your skin is healed because that's a lot of trauma. Because my first surgery was like 6.5 hours, and that's 6.5 hours. I had two surgeons, and let me tell you, my anesthesiologist, he was fine as hell, but that don't have nothing to do with nothing. I just want to say that. But
Man, get out of here, man.
I had, two surgeons. One of them was scooping my titty meat out, and the other one was trying to make them pretty again. So it was a lot, and they just don't recommend you just do all this shit because not only do you have to like heal from the outside, but the inside as well because you go from having tissue to having absolutely nothing at all. Like there is nothing. I don't have any breast tissue at all. Like even I just have skin. Like I even have like these fat graft implants that they put over the implant just so that my skin wouldn't be rubbing against the implant just to make them look real because people that don't do that you can see the actual implant. But my plastic surgeon is so dope. She made it so that she put fat around it so that it looks real.
Those be like in the porn when on the side they side boob look like Ziploc bag.
Right. Because that's
Okay.
basically how my whole boob was going to look like that if she didn't do what she did. Because
Okay.
what scared me about the process was I started looking at pictures and I seen like all these ugly titties and I'm like, damn, that's what the fuck I'm about to look like. But I chose a really good surgeon because she specializes in breast reconstruction. And she's like the only, surgeon that's certified to do all these different types of reconstruction. And she actually really cares. Like when I went in for my consultation or whatever to get my implants put in, she, really went into, she was like, all right, well, I'm gonna lift this one up and we're gonna move this one over and then we're gonna put this one up here and then I'm gonna make this one a little bigger and then I'm gonna do this. And I was like, damn, I feel like I'm on Nip Tuck. What the fuck? But like she is really serious about titties. Like that's her specialty is titties.
Well, good for you. I'm so happy for you, and I am so glad that that's behind you now, and you were able to. I hate that you had to lose a part of you, but I think it was a small sacrifice to keep you here with us. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that I can still call you up when I want to, and that I can do things like have you on the show and talk to you and share you with my listeners. You know what I mean? So I guess thank you for your sacrifice. I don't want that to sound selfish, but I'm just glad that you're still here. I'm glad my buddy is still here. You know what I mean?
I know. I mean, and I didn't realize how many people cared about me until I had like my first surgery because I felt really alone because I felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to because like I said, a lot of my friends were just like giving me like Bible verses and stuff to read and I'm like, I just want somebody to talk to,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need that right now. So, my friend Hannah, shout out to Hannah, that's my nigga. Even though she only a nigga. She actually planned like a going away party for my boobs. And that was really exciting for me because, she got little titty cupcakes made and they had alcohol in them. Then we went to a strip club and um, the strippers, they just, I guess, I don't know. So I guess someone told them that I was, going to have surgery. So they like did like a little celebration for my titties and stuff. And it was dope. And then, what really touched me is that, I ain't no broke bitch, I got money. But like my friends, they really, got together and they gave me $500, like because they care about me so much, and they just was like, we wanted to do something for you because we love you. So they gave me $500, and I'm like, how many of anybody's friends could say they did that for them, and they know that you don't need it.
You
Like
got
that was
you got a really really great support system. I was mad you told me I couldn't come. I was so mad. I understood it. I understood why, and I understood what it was supposed to be. But you know me, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there for you. I thought that was a really cool thing, but so I just wanted to take time and tell you. I was really legitimately upset. I understood, but it ain't changed how I
it
felt.
was initially something I didn't want to do because I didn't really like talking about it. But my friend Hannah is like the
Shout
most
out to
positive
Hannah. Shout out to Hannah on the OTAP show.
Honolulu 12 on Twitter. But she is like a really, really awesome person. I love her so much. And she actually was, planned everything. And she actually, brought the idea to me. And I was like, I just want to have my surgery and go home. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to think about this shit. And she was just like, we should do something. And I'm like, okay. So then you start planning stuff and it just, just I had a great time and I was really appreciative of everybody that came and like all my friends like really getting together and doing that for me because even my coworkers and my company, they did a lot for me. Like my boss even came over here and was doing my laundry and folding my drawers. An old white lady. Like she came and she brought me
Wow.
this. Like it was crazy. I was like really like touched by how like just the outpouring of support and just from everybody like everywhere. It was really dope.
You recently did a to change pace a little bit. You recently did one of those ancestry things. What did you find?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. So I started doing my ancestry stuff because I don't really know anything about my family. And I noticed that as Black people, a lot of us don't know anything about our families because we don't talk about it. So, because a lot of the stuff is, not stuff that grandparents want to share, like, discrimination and segregation and stuff. Like, I remember my grandparents, vaguely talking about it, but they didn't talk about that stuff. They really didn't. And like, great grandmothers and stuff like that, I didn't know anything about anybody. So I decided to do the DNA ancestry kit because I wanted to see if I had, any family members. I also wanted to see how white I was because there's a lot of white ass people in my family. Like I'm the darkest person, my mom, because my dad was Black as fuck, so all her kids are brown. So me and my sister, we were always looked at as the black kids, and we aren't that dark. So it was just weird, because like my whole family in Tennessee are just fucking high yellow. So I'm like, I really want to know, what's going on with that. So I did the whole ancestry thing, and it came back that I am only 75% Black, and I was like, okay,
Only
cool.
75%.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was like 80 or 90, like what the fuck? And then I saw,
You
because
pretty
it was
dark
crazy.
skinned to be 85%. You pretty dark to be 85%.
That's 75%.
I'm sorry, 75%. Damn,
Shut up.
that's a whole quarter of you that's like something
White.
else.
I am all white. I'm all that old. That 25% is all white. Like most people, well, not most people, but some people are, Native American or East Indian or something. That shit is all white from Germany and France. Like shit.
So
So,
you got some privilege.
man, shut up. You sound like Ebony now with
Did they
her
give
thank
they
you.
did they give you like a like so is there somewhere you can go and get like a 25% privilege card? Like what's up?
Well,
Like you
actually,
gotta cash that
because
shit in.
man, no, but listen, the shit gets realer than that because ancestry DNA is made basically for people that are not scientific. I'm scientific as fuck.
Hell yeah.
So I took the raw data of my DNA and I ran it through other databases that's, by, scientists and stuff. So that it broke my DNA further down, and that shit just kept getting whiter and whiter and whiter. So now I am at fucking 35% white. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing this shit no more. And it broke it down right to the actual, like, because Ancestry DNA, it just says West Europe, and it includes these countries. But I did another place with my raw data, and it said Germany and France. Oh, and Africa, no Native American at all, which is crazy to me because everybody in my family is like, oh, well, your great 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 grandmother, she was Indian. Ain't no motherfucking Indians in this family. None. Just white people. The reason why she had long flowing locks and she had a straight nose was because her ass was white. That's why.
Talking
Like,
so like she was pure Anglo Saxon. That's what
no,
is what.
actually, I found out that my great grandfather was actually white. And that's a story because I didn't know my grandfather because my grandmother never talked about him. I didn't know him at all. So Ancestry DNA, they also match you to other people that took the test, and you can see other people that you're related to who you share DNA with. So when I first got my results, I'm all excited and shit. But then I saw that I had 4 people that were matching to me as first cousins. And I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Because I know my first cousins. So I'm like, okay. I said, I'm adopted, or my mama fucked somebody and that's not my real dad. I was like, what the hell is going on? So they sent me a message and they were like, you are really close to us and we really want to figure out how because we don't know who you are. And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't know who you are. Shit. So I gave the guy my phone number or whatever. So we started talking, and he was like, what's your mother's name? Gave him my mom's name. And then he was like, what's your grandparents' name on your mom's side? Gave him that. And he was like, okay, well, what about your dad's side? So I gave him the information for my dad. And I was like, well, I don't know my grandfather's name. I was like, my grandmother, all I know is that he's dead. I don't, ask about him because as long as I remember, he's always just been dead. So I'm like, okay. So he was like, well, can you do me a favor and can you call your grandmother and ask him his name? And I was like, okay. So I called my grandmother and I'm like, hey, can you tell me what my grandfather's name is? And of course, her ass bitter as fuck. She was like, that motherfucker. And I was like, okay, grandma, I just want to know his name. Just want to know his name. And she was like, all right. She told me his name. So I called the man back. I told him his name. And he just started laughing. And I'm like, what the fuck is so funny? He was like, well, your grandfather is my uncle. And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah. So then he like sent me pictures of my grandfather. And I was like, wow, because I've never seen him before. And I was like, this is really fucking cool. Like, this is awesome. So then Ancestry, they have this feature where you can combine your family trees. So he put me in the family tree so I was able to look at him. And the shit that I saw really fucked me up because, one, my grandfather was born in 1917 and he has 13 fucking children. And two of those children, my uncle and my father, were by my grandmother. Nobody in that whole family knew about them. Nobody knew existed. And also, he was married. But he was supposed to be married to my grandmother, too.
Wow.
So
Ancestry telling it all.
Yeah, so I did, and my grandmother didn't know because I called her back and I was like, okay, did you know he was married? And she was like, what? Because I think they had like a common law thing going. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But he was married to another woman and his wife was pregnant at the same time as my grandmother, both times for my uncle and my dad. And he stayed married to this woman until she died in like 1999. And what made me sad about the whole situation is that I don't have a relationship with my father. And that's pretty much why, because his father was a piece of shit. Because his dad literally lived in the same city as him and never saw him, ever. Like, he lived there, he died there. Like, I found his grave. I found out he died in like 2005. I found his grave. I found like all his grandchildren. I found like so much shit. And I was just like, this is really fucked up because y'all didn't even know that my dad existed. Like, and the guy, that I was talking to who's supposed to be my cousin or whatever, he was just like, thought it was just the funniest and greatest thing in the world. And I'm like, this shit isn't funny or great to me because my grandmother really like was fucked up from this because he basically like would leave and come back and leave and come back. And then one day he just never came back. And then my dad does the same thing where he just leaves and comes back and then he just leaves. Mm-hmm. And my uncle is in prison. So it's like, that shit's funny to you that he had these two secret kids, but that shit's not funny to me because that really fucked up my grandmother and it fucked up my father. And it's like, and then my grandmother, she went through this thing where he lied to her so much about stuff. And I just felt like I just opened up this can of shit that I wish I never opened because she didn't know that he was as old as he was because my grandmother was born in 1938 and he was born in 1917. So he was 21 years older than her. Like, he lied about his age. He lied about his name. And it was just fucking crazy to me that she did not know all this stuff about him. And it made me, understand my grandmother a little more of, why she can be such a bitch sometimes, because she has been fucked over in her life. But one thing I will say that she did gain validation, because people always said that her sons had different fathers, and she would, because my my grandfather is like white basically, and my uncle looks like Millie, and my dad is black as fuck and looks like a roach. So everybody would just be like, they ain't got the same dad, but they do have the same father. So she got validation from that, because her mother, my great grandmother, who was still alive, I don't know how. Like, I don't know why people in my family on my dad's side live so fucking long, but them motherfuckers don't die. They just don't die.
So
So,
which site did you use? You use Ancestry.com. Did you have to? Was that the site Ancestry.com?
yeah.
You didn't have to? Did you have to send them samples? Like, how did they run
Yeah.
that?
Spit in the tube.
See, I'm real wary about sending my DNA to somewhere I don't know.
Shit, you put your DNA in girls that you don't really know. What the fuck is I mean, have you
Wow.
ever nutted in a towel at a bitch house? You left your DNA there. Shit, you didn't give a fuck, did you?
Wow. Goodness gracious. Damn it. Goddamn Summer.
This shit on pillows and faces, and you don't give a shit. But spitting in the tube, oh, that's scary.
You're right. Thank you for showing me the error in my ways. I usually got something to say for everything. I have zero comeback for that. I
I mean, I
will.
understand why people are so weary about it with all this
No, but
conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but I come from a place of I am really into the sciences, so that shit is fucking awesome to me. I understand why some people don't want to do it, because they feel like, oh, they're gonna use my DNA. What the fuck they gonna use your DNA for? Like, seriously,
I mean, I just
that's what I want to know.
if I'm going to be cloned, I'd like to have a relationship with the clone. Like, that's all. And
It's
also, and
hard to clone
also,
somebody.
also, if they were to clone them, I'd like to know, because there are some organs I could farm from that little guy. So it'd be.
I understand that, but y'all be flattering yourself too much. They are not gonna clone some nigga from Atlanta. They not gonna do that.
First of all, I am the shit. Okay. So slow down. Okay. They absolutely would clone me. Okay, if they had an opportunity. I am. I have the blood of ancient Egyptians running through my veins. I am a national treasure. Okay, so
Shit,
why wouldn't they clone me?
shit, until you spit in that tube and your ass gonna come back white as fuck like me.
I'm gonna do it. You
Because
have
Ebony did it and she was 90%. So I'm thinking, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna be at least 85. That shit came back 75. And I was like, oh. And
I'm
then
gonna
I
do
did
it.
further analysis and that shit was like, what was like 60 something percent. And I was like, oh, I'm like, damn, I'm getting less black. I don't want to dig no more into this, because then after this, I'm just gonna have to, have to start writing down Caucasian on my papers and shit.
I'm gonna do it because I trust you and you're a scientist, so you wouldn't have sent it nowhere. If you felt like they could really, really do something with it. How much does it cost? What do I have to put up to do that?
Well, the test is $99, but if anybody is interested, I can give you a coupon for where you can get $10 off. And it takes about 4 weeks to get the results. People are starting to give them out as like Christmas gifts and stuff to like do their family trees. So they usually have a special going around the holidays. But if you do it around the holidays, it takes longer, because a lot of people are spitting in tubes and sending them in around that time. So my turnaround time was pretty quick, because I did it in September, and I sent my spit like September 19th, and I got my results back like October like 8th or 9th or something like that. So it's been really interesting because I was able to, find like someone else whose family tree actually matched mine. And I found that we had the same great, 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 great grandparents. And that was pretty cool because she was able to like tell me stuff about them. And we were able to find like our slave owners. And I was able to find who owned us in Tennessee, and also found that some people on my grandmother's side as well, they were actually free Black people, that they were never slaves, and they actually owned businesses and had money and stuff. So I thought that was dope as hell. That really made me proud. But the part that didn't make me proud was this dumb woman mistake where it seems that my third great grandmother, she was never a slave. Her parents weren't slave and her grandparents weren't slaves. So she was just free in South Carolina. And I can't, because right now the way that you piece stuff together is you have to look at records and stuff. So just from looking at the records, it looks like she had 3 children with a white man. And it wasn't rape or anything because she wasn't a slave. So I really want to know what kind of relationship that was for her to have 3 children with a white man. And then she fled South Carolina and moved to Tennessee. And she married a Black man. And then she like changed her name and everything. So I want to know what happened for her to leave South Carolina, where she was in a family that had money, because they, like the church that had the church shooting in South Carolina, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but my great 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 grandfather or something was like a founder of that church. Like he was a trustee, where I found his bank records where he actually donated money to the church when the Ku Klux Klan came and they tried to bomb the church and they were rebuilding it. Like he actually gave money. There's a record of him giving money to the church so that they can rebuild it. And that shit was just amazing to me. But his daughter, she left with these half-white kids and she moved to Tennessee and married a sharecropper. So I really want to know like what happened then, because it seemed like she had it made in South Carolina, because her dad owned his own business and he had bank accounts and he was free. They didn't know anything about being a slave. Not saying that stuff was the best for them because they were still Black, but they weren't slaves. So I'm really, that's the part that I'm trying to figure out now, because I was able to trace that part of the family back to the 1700s, and that was really dope.
I'm interested. I think I'm gonna do it and see what's out there. Last thing I got for you before I let you go. I want to get your thoughts on. I'll need to see if you remember the day. I want to get your thoughts on October 25th, 2007, in Blacksburg, Virginia.
October
25th, 2007, in Blacksburg, Virginia. There was a. It was in October. There was a.
You know what? Fuck you, for real. You know what? For real. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Jesus, fuck you. Oh my God. Oh my God, why did you bring that shit up? Man, fuck you, for real. Jesus. I'm thinking you about to talk to me about the Blacksburg Massacre. But hell no, your ass want to talk about fucking Matt Ryan, bitch ass. I will never forget that day as long as I fucking live. That fucking Thursday night football game, fucking Boston College, Virginia Tech in the top 10 doing this shit. And I'm like, hell yeah, we about to go to the national championship. Oh my fuck, I will never forget that fucking day. That motherfucker scored like 2 touchdowns in like a minute. and
Yep.
fucking won and stunned Plattsburgh. I will never fucking forget that shit as long as I fucking live. And fuck you for bringing that up. Man, fuck you. Fuck you. And fuck Matt Ryan. Fuck Boston College. Fuck all y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah, that was I was before the show I was thinking because he was drafted that
Y'all
next
ass
year.
don't need to think no more. Shit.
I was like, Virginia Tech has given Atlanta two treasures. Virginia Tech gave us Michael Vick, and I'm pretty sure that game is what got us Matt Ryan. Wasn't it raining that game too? Like he was playing through inclement weather. It was. It,
That was
he
like,
Yeah. Oh, that last touchdown. It came with what? Wasn't it like 10 seconds left? I'll never forget it. He threw that shit to Andre Calendar.
man.
If it,
Fuck.
all
I
right,
will
trip.
never forget that shit as long as I live. Like that was like one of the worst days of my life.
Yo,
I
this
done been
moment,
through a lot of shit, but that shit hurt. I was like, "Are you serious?"
this moment was priceless. Like the moment you remember exactly what it was. Trivia question for you. Trivia question. Who was the third round pick in the 2008 draft? NFL draft.
These nuts.
Oh man. Oh man, get out of here. I will forever mess with you about that.
First name Bofa, last name These nuts.
I remember when we drafted Matt Ryan, and I was down on. Then his first play was a touchdown. I was like, okay, cool. And you was like, fuck Matt Ryan, and I couldn't figure out why. Then it hit me. You went to Virginia Tech and you had to experience that ass whooping.
That shit hurt. But we we didn't really come back, but in the ACC title game we ended up beating Boston College then. But at that point
it was 36 to like 16 or something like that.
Yeah, because Matt, he was a bitch by then, so he just fucked up. And yeah, so but that really ruined shit for us because we were looking like, oh my god, and then we dropped in the polls and shit. Man, fuck you, man. Why you bringing old shit up?
If it make you feel better, that game he was a Heisman hopeful. I think one of the next two games he threw like 3 interceptions and fell out of the race. If it makes you feel better.
What the fuck? I'm still fucking long. I don't feel better. Shit. Man, fuck that motherfucker. I fucking hate Matt Ryan.
And he don't even think about that anymore. He
don't give a shit.
He not a Boston College Eagle no more. He a whole different bird now.
A shitty bird.
I'm done messing with you. Before I let you go, do you got anything you want to plug? Anybody you want to shout out or anything at all that you got? The floor is yours.
Well, ladies, make sure you check your titties, and if you have a family history of breast cancer, make sure that you really push your doctor to get you to get mammograms and any kind of imaging that is available for you and your breast tissue type. And if your doctor is not receptive to it, find another fucking doctor, because had I never found a doctor, my ass would be going through chemo right now and I'll be a bald-headed bitch. So make sure you check your titties and check your doctors. Black Lives Matters. I'm all about that shit. I think that's it. I'm gonna take my ass to bed now.
Even those of us that are only 75% black, you matter. Your lives matter too.
Hell yeah, because when I get pulled over, they don't see that 25%.
You got to get the card. They got like a card. You got to show them like
Yeah,
my
and
privilege card.
they just gonna like just beat my ass 75% of the time. Like they only gonna scoop 75% of my body. I doubt it.
Oh man! All right, good people. This has been another episode. You can find us on follow us on Twitter at OTAP Show. You can follow me, your host Corey, at The Real Shitty on Twitter. That's Shitty with a SCHITTY. You can find this show on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can also find us on iHeartRadio. I'm very proud to finally be on iHeartRadio. If you're an Android user, you can subscribe to the show in the Google Play Music app. Just search the OTAP Show. We recently revamped the website. You can go to otapshow.com. If you have any questions or comments, fill out the form on the site. I will read them on the show. Leave us a good review on iTunes. It helps us. We're just trying to take over the world over here. For Sommar, I'm your host, Corey, and we'll catch you back next week. Peace.
Fuck Mac Ryan.
I'd like to thank our guests for coming on today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, send an email to otap@writeme.com. Follow the conversation on Twitter by searching the hashtag OTAP, that's OTAP, or following us on Twitter at OTAP Show. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen to the podcast on Podcast Republic. Just download the app and search OTAP Show. On behalf of our guest, I'm your host, Corey, and I'll see you back here next week on the Air Podcast, starring you.